Another beautiful day, heading over to Jersey to the Colliers Mills Wildlife Management Area. Borders right up against Six Flags Great Adventure. And here we are at Great Adventure now. Wait, what? It's closed!
Sorry, folks, we're closed for 2 weeks to clean and repair America's favorite family fun park. Sorry.
And here's where the road turns to dirt. We are now in Colliers Mills Wildlife Management Area. This area is located in Ocean County, New Jersey. It is a great example of New Jersey pine barrens habitat. Provides a range of national habitat, pitch pine and scrub oak forests, swamps, lakes, scrub brush. Colliers Mills Lake and Success Lake are also features here in the WMA. Due to its habitat and location along the Atlantic Flyway, the National Audubon Society has designated Colliers Mills as an important bird area. So over 140 species of birds have been identified in the pine barrens, and many of them can be found nesting here in Colliers Mill. And here's where the trail starts to ride along the Great Adventure Safari drive-thru. It would be cool to see some animals today. See the ostrich over there in the pen?
Alright, Corey, sit down, you're hurting me, and you're hurting yourself.
Looks like Goldie is very keen on watching the ostriches. Some ellipsis waterbuck. An interesting piece of history about the wildlife management area. Recently, the Ocean County Historical Society recently found a document which was dated July 12th, 1734. It appears that it's a deed for land contained within the WMA. So a researcher with the Historical Society had received the document from her cousin, where it had been kept on his farm for, he said, countless years. So it was deemed to be significant because it proved that there was still Indian-owned land that had not yet been purchased by white settlers as of that time, around 1734. So the Indian who held the deed was Bartholomew Calvin, also known as wilted grass or Shawskakung. He was Princeton educated and knew his ancestors did not realize what they gave up when they sold their land for blankets and trinkets and axes and coats and that sort of thing. So the purchaser of the land was Edmund Beeks of Burlington County, and he paid 30 shillings for it. So I guess this guy thought he was making out better with 30 shillings. I'm not sure how much that was at the time. But the deed, it's really hard to read, but I guess they deciphered it. And what it says is, this indenture made the 12th day of July in the year of the Lord 1734 between Indian Pombolus, one of the natives of New Jersey, of the one part, and Edmund Beeks of the county of Burlington in the western division of New Jersey, yeoman of the other part, witnesseth that the said Pombolus, for and in consideration of the sum of 30 shillings to him in hand paid and received, he doth hereby acknowledge every part and parcel thereof, and do acquit and forever discharge to Edmund Beeks forever by these agents who have granted, bargained, sold, aliened, invested, and confirmed, and by those persons do grant, bargain, sell, alien, invest, and confirm unto the said Edmund Beeks his heirs, and assigns a certain tract of land lying in the eastern division of New Jersey near the Cedar Swamps, bounded as followeth. And then it gives the outline of where the borders of the land is. In witness where said Pombolus has set his hand and seal, dated the day and year above written, 1734. And this is interesting. The sign sealed and delivered in the presence of us. The witnesses were Jim Squish, Anthony Woodward, John Pombolus, Indian Tom, Thomas Cobbs, Indian Peter, Tully Carpenter, James Fries, Walolo Wand, Weshawsa Skunk, TDS Skunk. I thought that was really cool. Interesting for the time. So there's that. And on to the rest of the WMA.
An overcast day is always such a treat in the Pine Barrens. Tranquil views like this, gorgeous. Mud and water. There's always mud and water.
We hit a couple of the offshoots off of the main roads, and there's some really nice little trails in here. There was some pretty steep stuff up and down. That worried Maggie a little bit. She's still worried that the Jeep is going to roll over. But some nice tight technical stuff. Some rocks, some really soft sand, at one point where the trail got so tight, I just didn't want to continue without walking it out first, so that'll be another day. But a lot of really nice trails with really great scenery all around. And I gotta give it to my camera guy, Logan. He did a good job filming some of this stuff. Awesome job, Logan. Way to go. A little more history of the area. Edmund Beeks, as you'll remember from the deed earlier, built a sawmill at the eastern edge of Success Lake. The town that sprung up around it was called Success Mills. Colliers Mills was once a bustling place when sawmills and the smelters' furnaces employed hundreds of workers in the Pinelands. The name of the place came from the prosperous charcoal burners known as Colliers that were here at one time. There have also been grist mills and cranberry bogs here as well. Later on, Stanley Switlik, a Russian immigrant of Polish-Ukrainian descent, acquired a vast land holding here. When his lands were broken up, one part became Colliers Mills WMA, and the other part became Six Flags Great Adventure. Okay, well, this looks like a pretty major road left and right, but Waze says Borgata is straight ahead, so I guess we're going that way. So I found this interesting, how they made charcoal back in the day. It took almost 4 cords of wood to make 100 bushels of charcoal. After the cords of wood were cut, a pole called a fergan was placed in the center of a newly cleared field, with short lengths of wood stacked around it in a teepee-like fashion. Layers of turf were packed onto the sides to keep air from escaping. Sand was put in it to further seal the kiln. Then the cords of wood were dropped into the top of the kiln along with ignited kindling until they almost reached the opening, like all the way to the top. The kiln was watched by a collier or charcoal maker who placed a ladder against the side to check on the fire's intensity at least once an hour. They would poke air holes into the bottom of the kiln or fill air holes depending on the heat and what the heat was that was needed to make the charcoal. So these colliers stayed in the woods by the kilns for 2 weeks. That's how long it took for the whole process to complete. They'd even sleep alongside them so they could closely watch the fires. Now that's dedication.
Next up is a stop at Prospertown Lake, a man-made lake that is adjacent to Six Flags Great Adventure, normally 14 feet deep and fully stocked with fish. Figured it'd be a good place to get out and stretch our legs and let Goldie get a drink. No, not from the lake. muffler man that looks like Alfred E. Newman. This is New Jersey's Happy Halfwit. He lurks near the entrance to Great Adventure. A few years ago, the head of this muffler man was found on a nearby high school's roof. Luckily, his head was returned and reattached. To this day, he beckons people to stop at the roadside eatery and paintball area. The original halfwits were sold in heights as tall as 21 feet high.
Home sweet home. Get all your stuff, get your trash, and get into some shorts and t-shirts and wash the Jeep. Get the mud all off.
No.
What?
No. That's
Doesn't
your
this sound
job.
like fun?
You're the driver. You got to have the fun. You got to do it.
And this is what I'm left with. A pile of mud to clean up. But also a lot of good memories. So it's definitely worth it. So get out there and make it an adventure.